Russian performers, members of voice, by excluding voice. So first of all, I want to say that since the beginning of the war, we cannot find any official statement of voice on their website. There was no statement to SCAPR members and no any attempt to contact anyone at ULCRR. And this is how dictatorship works. This silence strengthens dictatorships and send a signal that you can continue do whatever you want. So, and let's talk about Russian performers. Member of VOIS Supervisory Board, Igor Sarukhanov, performed at the celebrations of Victory Day in Yekaterinburg, the fourth most populous city in Russia. And I want to give you a context. This year, a celebration were held under the slogan, "We can repeat," and Russian soldiers died during the invasion of Ukraine were glorified and considered as those who died fighting with Ukrainian Nazis. Number of Russian well-known performers publicly support war. In their speeches, they justify war and cynically turn reality upside down. The example of this we have just witnessed. They are calling war a peacekeeping operation and say that Russia acts according to international law. They shift responsibility for their dictator's decision to NATO, call European countries Nazi to the core, packs of jackals, and blame them in inhuman Russophobic animosity. So I collected Nikolai Baskov, Tarzan, Alexander Novikov, Grigory Leps, Larissa Dolina, and many others. So, Russian performers personally take part in violation of territorial integrity of Ukraine. Yulia Chicherina, a Russian singer, cut off with a knife a flag of Ukraine from the city hall of occupied Energodar, a city in the Zaporizhia region. And not only separate performers, but the whole music and cultural community support war. Over 150 artists signed an open letter in support of war, and they call it special operation in Ukraine. They call Ukrainian government fascist. They say that Russia was forced to start the war, and they call Ukraine Malorossiya, which means Little Russia. And this letter is signed by directors and chief conductors of philharmonics, choirs, and orchestra, and they speak on behalf of thousands of performers. And such statements circulated in media make such inhuman ideas normal to the public. Also, Russia violates intellectual property rights at state level. The resolution adopted in March by Russian government allows to use patents without any fee if an owner of such patent is from unfriendly country. You can find the list of unfriendly countries on internet, and it's very long. And you can find just a few SCAPR members who are out of it. And there will be no surprise if the same kind of resolution will be adopted regarding authors and performers' rights. Let's talk about those performers who are against war. All of them had to leave Russia because of their position, and their shows and concerts are cancelled all over the Russia, and they are in a clear minority. Those who dare to speak out against war and are still in Russia are prosecuted, and because of discrediting the actions of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. Are obliged to report their position on political situation. There are blacklists of artists. There is a centralized position that always coincides with the official position of authorities, like it was in Soviet Union. It is mandatory for the artists to take part in propaganda activities. Persecution and ban of courses of those artists who don't cooperate is a common thing. There have to be consolidated efforts to stop Russia in economical, cultural, sports, and other fields. Previously, we have not seen celebrities and public persons openly calling for murder, diplomats lying through the teeth, bot farms paid from the state budgets, and for this, additional legal mechanisms and procedures are required. So we know that isolation of Russia is on the way. Russia was excluded from Eurovision Song Contest and from Cannes Film Festival. Russia is also excluded in the highest political and economical level. The Council of Europe, the United Nations Human Rights Council, and the World Economic Forum don't deal with Russia anymore. Russian teams and sportsmen are excluded from football, basketball, tennis, and athletic competitions, including world championships. And we ask to exclude voice from SCAPR. I welcome the decision on amendments to the statutes that makes it possible. And I ask SCAPR members to support this move and to vote exclusion of voice once it's on agenda. We also ask SCAPR members to prohibit to use music of the members you represent in the territory of Russian Federation, or at least to prohibit it broadcasting by state-owned broadcasting companies, to block money due to voice at least until the end of war, to prevent circumvention of sanctions by Russian CMOs by registering shell companies in non-Russian jurisdictions. And we ask you to decline any kind of documents sent by such organizations and not pay money to them. And of course, we ask you to make donations in a special SCAPR fund for Ukrainian performers and Ukrainian CMO employees. Or in a bomb shelter. You cannot balance between being against the war and maintaining economic relationship with Russia. Today, you can stand on side of Ukraine, on side of democracy, or on the side of aggressor and side of dictatorship. I invite all of you to make your choice. Slava Ukraini!